Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. Here we go, Jeff. Week 10, wide receiver and tight end rankings. Exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
No Mike Evans, unless somehow his appeal happens, which I highly doubt. Those never work, do they?
Yeah.
Unless you're Zeke.
Yeah, then they happen all the time.
But this one's not going to court, so he won't be playing, which is disappointment because he had a good matchup coming in this week. Some other ones we'll go over here. I think it's pretty clear who my number one will be, but we'll get into that in just a minute. Before, make sure you go check us out on Twitter at the FF Prophet. If you have any questions at all going into the week, trades, start sits, just ask us on there or on Instagram at fantasyfootballprophet. And go check out the website, fantasyfootballprophet.com. All of our rankings will be out there. All of them 1 through, 60. We go way too deep into the ranks where 50 to 60 is probably not very accurate. But we rank them all how we think. So let's go into it, Jeff. Wide receivers. Number 1 is Antonio Brown.
Yep, not going to argue with you.
He's going to be number 1 for me every time. And I don't even have to go into it. Antonio Brown's number 1. He's the best wide receiver right now in the league. So he's number 1. Is he your number 1?
Number 1.
Who's number 2?
Number 2, actually, after saving himself from suspension, I have A.J. Green.
I do too. I think this is going to be the bounce back week.
I think it's kind of a wake-up call.
Yep.
Man, he let it boil over finally, and hopefully he can get himself back on track, because after the bye, he has not been that great.
He really hasn't, and he's still, though. He's good. He's going to be good. He can't keep having, how many is it, 3 poor games in a row?
Poor for him, right? So,
right, yeah.
4.1, 8.7, which is fine for anyone else, but, it's AJ. So.
And then who's number 3?
Number 3, I got Dez.
Okay. Dez is going to be my 4th. My number 3 is Julio. Where'd you go with Julio?
4th.
Okay.
I just flipped him.
When we post our ranks up on Instagram every week, put Julio number 2 last week. Got a lot of flack for that. People were asking me, why is Julio there? And the reason Julio is there is because what I'd like the people to do sometimes, make your own ranks. Just look at it and really see what you would do. What do you do? Like,
I'll tell you.
There is no, really, some of these players might be outperforming him sometimes, but it drops off so quickly. I don't see how you can. Julio is that talented, so he has to be up there. Even this week, 6 for 118, and that's with dropping about a 40-yard touchdown bomb. He had it in his hands. Perfect pass right there, and he drops the thing.
And that's the thing. He has 1 touchdown in the year, and he's still ranked, 22nd overall for wide receivers. And it's almost like he's allergic to touchdowns or something right now. But we knew this. We knew that for some reason he doesn't get as many touchdowns as what you would think he would. Some of the other big guys like Green or Bryant.
Yep.
But like you said, in the past 4 games, he hasn't had less than 70 yards receiving.
And that's where people come in. You expected more from Julio, but that is as good as it's going to get really with wide receivers because everybody's so up and down. You're going to get the nothing games from like Brandon Cooks and these other guys who might be the guys you have to put ahead of him. So he's going to be up there in the top 5, I think, for us all the time. And that's, if you question why do we keep putting Julio up there, it's because he's that good. And it's not even the fact that he's just that good and we expect him to continue to do so. There isn't enough guys below him stepping up. That's where it really comes into.
No, and this is, to put it in perspective as well, I think the perfect thing to kind of show how wide receiver has gone this year as well is if you had to name the number 5 wide receiver, would Brandon Cooks come to mind? Because that's who it is right now.
He seems like he's up and down. But
he just hit bye week. But yeah, and he had 1 big week, where he scored 27. But other than that, he ranges from 4 to 8. He's kind of in that range. And that's kind of how these guys go. So if you're not going to get this huge spike, which Julio hasn't had yet, that's kind of what you were hoping for. If you can get between 7 and 12 points, which is Julio all day long, that's what you're going to get. So I'm waiting for 1 big week, and then he jumps into the top 10, and then no one worries about it. But Julio is such a great play and such a great player. It's impossible to sit him. He's still scoring you points.
Yep. So that's why he's always going to be up there for us. And that, until other people finally step up, which I don't see happening this year. There's some players that have been good, but so we have the same guys in the top 4, basically. That's what that's showing. Number 5 then. Who did you put 5?
5, begrudgingly, I put Doug Baldwin.
So did I. Doug Baldwin. This isn't maybe my bias because I just bought Doug Baldwin. But the reason I got Doug Baldwin on my team is because I believe in the talent. And I believe in the offense right now, the way they're passing the ball because they can't run it. So that's why Baldwin's there. And if Seattle continues to have to throw the ball around, there's going to be volume there. He's had, I think, double-digit targets in 3 straight games now. If my memory serves me correctly, which if you can get a guy with double-digit targets, he has to be pretty much a top 10 player with touchdown potential. So that's why he's up there, number 5. I'll round out my top 10 here. Michael Thomas is my 6th. Then DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Cooks, T.Y. Hilton. I know I'm buying into, I guess, 1 week, and Demaryius Thomas, number 10. What do you got for your remainder of your top 10?
I have DeAndre Hopkins at number 6. So once again, I feel like 6 through 10, you're like, I can't believe these guys are in the top 10. But DeAndre Hopkins, even after losing Watkins, then I have Brandon Cooks, who we were just talking about, very solid, steady guy. Michael Thomas at number 8. T.Y. Hilton, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid as well. It seems like Brissett is just gonna throw him the ball all day long. Number 9, and then I have Marvin Jones at number 10.
Marvin Jones. Yeah. There you go. You're buying in, Jeff. You're buying in. 7 for 107 and 2 touchdowns against Green Bay.
I mean, the truth is, I think he's outperformed Tate in the past 4 weeks.
But has he? Okay, yes. Fantasy wise,
yeah.
Probably. They have. The thing is, both of those players are actually quite usable. So against Green Bay, Tate had 7 catches for 113 yards. So Jones had the 7 for 107. Got the touchdowns.
2 touchdowns.
Finally, the passing game did really looked good. I mean, they've been pretty good, but if they have both of those guys healthy and playing well, they're great. So where do you put Tate then?
I had Tate number 14. So
okay.
I mean, he's still up there. But I mean, if you look at it too, we just talked about how Julio Jones is up there, and he's scoring anywhere from 7 to 11. The last 3 games that Jones has played, 15.6, 12.8, 22.7, and even before that, he had a 2.4. If you threw that out, he went from 4.2 to 9.7. So I mean, he's been a very, very solid option, and I think he's only progressing and getting a little more look. He's kind of, I don't want to say taking over for Tate, but they're using them both, and I think he's the favorable matchup in the red zone, as we've seen. So I really like Marvin Jones. I think he's a great guy to have down the stretch.
Yep. I ranked him Marvin Jones 11th and Golden Tate 12th. They played great last week and they have a good matchup this week. And the reason, here's my reasoning for Marvin Jones being the one now ahead of Golden Tate. Maybe PPR might go the other way. Maybe. I'm not even guaranteed I would do that. I don't even do PPR ranks, but maybe, can't say for sure. The reason Marvin Jones is going to be ahead of Golden Tate is you watch that game, you watch the Lions play. They are looking for Marvin Jones in the end zone. They are clearly just looking for him. He could have had a third. He had 2 targets at the end of the game against the Packers as well. 2 targets within the 5-yard line. One of them was in the end zone. The other one looks a little screen pass trying to get him in the end zone. Could have had 3 touchdowns. They're looking for him. They're not looking for Golden Tate in the end zone. They're looking for Marvin Jones. They're not looking for Eric Ebron. Kenny Galladay's not out there. Maybe he'll change if he's healthy. Probably not, though. Marvin Jones is getting all the looks. That's my reasoning to why one's going to be ahead of the other. It's end zone, red zone looks. And that's all you want from a wide receiver right now. And that's so. I really think we're seeing Marvin Jones from the first couple of games of last year. Maybe that whole narrative of him being hurt the majority of the year after that, maybe that was true. Because you remember how good he was early on in the year. So I think that could be the case. I'm excited about it, especially, I guess, being Lions fans. It's kind of nice to see. I mean, there's a little, we get to talk about some Lions, and it actually is meaningful for once with something there.
I'll take what I can get.
All right, some other players here. Keenan Allen is your guy, but does he make your top 20 this week?
He is number 20.
Okay, he's number 19 for me, which that's about the high end. It's going against Jacksonville. That's now the team we worry about. It's Jacksonville. And so he's down 19. Plus, he hasn't really been lighting it up. He's been okay. He's been okay.
Tell you the truth, he's kind of put up similar numbers to Julio. I hate them, run our parade, but he has 1 touchdown. He's kind of fluctuated a bit. He started off a little bit stronger than he has been, but he's also had, Denver and New England. Now he's a bye. And the reason he's at 20 and not a little bit higher, even though I think, there would be some room to move up, he's going against Jacksonville. So Jacksonville, then Buffalo, both tough matchups, but I think after that, he'll bounce back and he'll be that top 15 guy.
What about, I'm just going to jump around here. Juju Smith-Schuster.
Juju. Love me some Juju. I'm hedging my bet a bit. I actually wanted to put him up a little higher, but I thought that would be a little too much after just one big performance like that. But I have him at 22.
All right. I put him at number 21. And consensus puts him at 23. That consensus will change. Probably might fluctuate depending on what site you're looking at, but currently he's 23rd there. So we're about right in line. And this is kind of the point. This is kind of where you put those players that you're excited about, but you need to see a little bit more. But so that you're not going to put them too high, but you're not going to put them too low. That's where Juju fits. So does Robbie Anderson fit around the same level?
He does. He's actually number 21.
All right, See, to me, he's that kind of guy too. I actually have him slightly higher. I have him at 18. So I'm a little bit more, and he's actually consensus-wise 18. But I like Robbie Anderson a lot. Good matchup. Hopefully we're not going too crazy buying into this one. And, with Robbie Anderson, we should have... I'm surprised. I'm just really surprised the Jets are playing actually better than we expected in Robbie Anderson. We talked about Robbie Anderson in the preseason, and I just kind of wrote him off completely. I thought there was nothing here. Nothing with this team. I was wrong. I think I was quite wrong on this. And McCown shows he can make some guy valuable, even though McCown, I don't think is a very good... He's not a great quarterback by any means, but he tosses the ball around.
Yeah, I think,
he's good enough. He's been in the league.
Exactly. I think he's a very solid quarterback. Yeah, it's hard to get excited about, but obviously he's shown that he's a veteran. He knows how to get it done. He's not throwing dumb picks or anything like that. He's played very, very well this year. So I got to give it to him because not only has he played above, I would say, most people thought, besides for maybe Jets fans or something, but he's done it with the worst supporting cast of all time. Not only has everyone been kind of the run game all over the place, but he hasn't even been able to be consistent because of all the injuries and different things that's happened with his wide receiving core. So it's just constantly changing. So he's done such a wonderful job. And it's reflected, too, because he's very playable in fantasy now.
Another one I want to know what your thoughts are. Minnesota receivers. So Diggs and Thielen they're an interesting group because Diggs has been hurt, really. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I feel like even though he's played, he really hasn't come back from the injury. You know what I mean? It just feels like he's not been back.
Yeah.
And so maybe the bye week really, when he played one game, it was against Cleveland. He didn't do anything. So then they had the bye week. Is he finally going to be healthy this week? So do you jump him ahead of Thielen?
Yeah. In this case, I would put Diggs above Thielen. I have them both kind of close. I have a 13-15 thing going on here.
Okay.
But I like Diggs more. But once again, I don't know. I'm not his doctor. I don't know if he's fully back or anything. Because even last year, when he was doing so well, he got injured and he just never really came back from it fully. I'm afraid it could be that type of, kind of situation again. But assuming that he's back, he got 4 receptions last game. I think that's a pretty good sign. He's a far superior wide receiver to Thielen in my eyes.
I believe he is too. I'm just not sold that he's back yet, but I went 16-17 with him with Thielen 1 spot ahead. But when you really break down what Thielen's done, he's only had the 1 touchdown in the last game. He had a big week 1, 9 for 157. Other than that, he's a lot of 5. He's had 8 games he's played this year. He's caught 5 catches in 6 of the 8 games. He's caught exactly 5 catches. The other 2 he caught 9 in each. So I guess if you're getting a player where his floor is 5 catches, that's okay. But I don't see the touchdowns there. I'm starting to worry if we're elevating him too much. when you really look at his numbers and what he has done, should he be up here? Or have we bought into something that, yes, he had a good game against Cleveland, but that's Cleveland. And he had a good game against New Orleans, but that was when New Orleans was brutal at defense. That was an odd game. I think they've stepped it up since then. They're a little different team than they were. Look at the rest of the games, weeks 2 through 7, not playing Cleveland. What, man, this is, to me, okay, Thielen's very matchup dependent, isn't he? Because look at these games where he spiked a little bit in yardage. Obviously, we talked about the New Orleans-Cleveland games. Those were the two. The other ones, Tampa, he spiked up to 98 yards. Tampa's terrible defense. The other one, he went up to 9 for 96, was against Green Bay. Look at Green Bay just let Marvin Jones and Golden Tate do against them. Is this more of a matchup-dependent player?
I completely. Think so. I don't think he's a guaranteed starter by any stretch of the imagination, but once again, he's kind of a top 20 wide receiver because of how consistent he's been.
Yeah, when I look at these numbers, I'm starting to wonder, why do I rank him up here?
I mean, you say that, but once again,
I put him up. I don't know.
Not that far off from some of these other guys.
I know.
That are
it's
way,
true.
Way more of a name. Even I don't want to say Julio. Julio's obviously better, but his numbers don't reflect that. He only has 1 touchdown.
I guess if you went and compared it to Mike Evans, maybe you'd be like, yeah, right.
Well, Mike Evans definitely has a better year than Thielen right now.
But it's because of the touchdowns, Mike Evans wise.
Yeah.
Like Mike Evans, you look in the yards, and he's not had a 100-yard game even. Thielen's had 2. So it's just the touchdowns for Evans, but he's not playing this week, so Evans. Mike Evans bothers me. Man. You can tell I'm a Mike Evans owner. Try not to let my biases shine through on the podcast too much. Talk about my team, but hey, Evans, get your act together. Come on, man. But I don't know. I'm going to keep Thielen up there, but Thielen, whatever his name is. I worry. I don't know. Maybe I just feel like maybe he's been elevated too much. Maybe if the quarterback play was there, that's Case Keenum's not, the greatest option. Maybe if Bridgewater comes back, that's going to be where it's interesting. So Thielen's up there. All right. Move on from the Vikings receivers. I know everyone's really excited about them, but moving on to some other guys. How about the Green Bay wide receivers?
This will be my next question for you. I think I have. All right. I have Jordy Nelson, number 12.
Okay.
And I think that is too high in a way for how they've been playing, since they have Hundley under center. But I have to imagine after losing to Detroit, they haven't been putting a whole lot of points up on the board. They have to start trying to figure out how Hundley can start throwing to these all-star wide receivers. So I feel like they're going to script it out so Jordy gets more looks. So that's why he makes 12, even though the past 2 games have not shown that.
No, but when they were down, they did have to open it up a little bit to Hundley, and he didn't make the big mistake. Mm-hmm. They didn't win, obviously, but he was 26 for 38 last week with 245. That's not terrible. That's respectable. And it looks like they've opened it up a little bit. And the run game was not there at all. With, Montgomery was at 5 carries, Jones had 5 carries, neither of them did anything. So they need to be able to have a pass game going to do anything. They need to get Nelson the ball. I think they will. I put him at 13. I'm not going too crazy. He's still the most talented guy there. I think they're figuring things out. So he's 13. Devontae Adams, I put 22. I'm going to keep a distance between those guys. And then, Randall Cobb's down at 40 for me. But if I'm a Nelson owner, I'm concerned right now. I am worried. You can't say, I think he's going to be there. I'm not a Nelson owner, so I don't have to be like, the sky's falling here. I think it's okay. Just calm down if you're a Nelson owner. I think you'll be okay. I think Hundley's going to figure it out a little bit. Do you think that too? Like, do you think he's going to figure this thing out? Like, not obviously to any kind of great level, but some kind of level. I think he's going to make Nelson at least a wide receiver 2. I think that's what you can be. I think so.
I think he'll be playable. I'm not even. I'll be honest. I'm more of the Chicken Little guy right now.
Here you are.
Because I don't think that Jordy will be able to be trusted in any capacity besides for maybe a wide receiver 3.
Oh, you think yeah?
And but what do you do? Not play him?
No, it's a tough one.
Yeah, I feel like you have to play him. So I feel like you're just kind of between a rock and a hard place right now. But and even worse, more than likely your trade deadline may have passed. But if it hasn't, I would try to get rid of him. I mean, I had Devontae Adams and I traded him like immediately.
Yeah, the problem is I just don't know. I think a lot of other people are smart enough to realize that.
Yeah, I mean, you won't be able to get value for it. But, if you can get something that can help you, especially get into the playoffs, I would take it.
One guy I'm not going to even talk about, Chris Hogan. We don't really know his 100% health status right now.
Nope.
And I'm not playing him this week. I would just say that. I'm not going to play him. Even if we know he's playing, I think I'm going to sit him this one. It's not that I'm worried necessarily about Denver anymore. I mean, yeah, a little bit. They still are a good team. But I just worry about the health. So I'm going to probably sit him. Sammy Watkins, is he in your top 10?
Top 10?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, look how good he is. Look at that touchdown.
He had a long touchdown. It's a good question. I actually have two. Oh, man, he didn't even make my top 30. Sammy Watkins is 31. But I actually have Robert Woods, and this might be an overreaction, but I like the fact that he's been getting far more, just a little more consistent of work. I have him at number 24 because I think Goff will be good. And I just know that he's going to get, the targets. He's going to get a few more catches. Watkins, I'm not sure exactly what's going on. He's so up and down. He has one phenomenal catch for like 60 yards and a touchdown. Yeah. Nothing else. I mean, I don't know what the heck's going on.
I put Watkins 29. I put Woods 30. So,
okay.
Go there. All right, any other wide receivers before we move on to tight ends? The rest of the guys are just what they are. There's a lot of guys in the middle. Kind of.
Yeah, I don't have anyone else that I'm kind of interested in. Are you interested in Benjamin at all now that he's actually going to play for Buffalo?
No, not yet.
Oh, yeah.
I want to. This is one completely wait and see what there is there. Maybe he's going to get a lot of targets. I don't know though. So I'll be honest when I don't have a clue on what something's going to happen because I don't have a clue. So I'm going to move over to tight ends, Jeff. All right, Gronkowski number 1.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram number 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah, good call.
Yep, same with me. And crazy, right? Evan Ingram number 2, but that's with no Kelsey, no Ertz.
Yeah.
And he's going against San Francisco, and there's nobody else to throw the ball to in New York right now.
No, I'm loving Evan Ingram.
So I just knew it was going to be Ingram there, number 2. But he keeps being a valuable player. I mean, I think we've seen enough to put him up there every time. And we've continually put him up in our top 5 for weeks now, and he really hasn't let us down, has he? No. This is 3 straight weeks with a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 3 weeks of a touchdown, pretty much as soon as Odell Beckham left. He's had touchdown. And not only that, but even if you take away those touchdowns. He's still in the top probably 5 or 6 of tight ends almost every week because he goes 82 yards, 60, and 70.
Yeah, just throw away that week 5 thing. That was weird.
I don't know what the heck that was.
Don't know. Other than that, he's going to get either 4, 5, or 6 catches. That's what he's going to do for you. He'll be between about 45 and 80 yards, probably 50 to 80 yards, and he might get you a touchdown.
Yeah, half the game he'll catch a touchdown.
That's what he's going to do, and that's better than you can ask for the rest of the guys. And he has potential to keep getting more and more and more. So I love Evan Ingram this week, despite the fact that I hate his team. It's a weird thing, all right, then my 3, 4, and 5, I'll go. It's going to be Jimmy Graham, Hunter Henry, Delaney Walker, number 5. So what do you got there?
I love the fact that you put Hunter Henry in there, showing him some love.
I don't care that he's going against Jacksonville. He's going to do something. He's going to get a touchdown.
I have Jimmy. So yep. Yeah, I agree with you on Jimmy Graham. But then I have Walker, Brait, and then Doyle, and then Hunter Henry.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm taking kind of a leap of faith on Brait, but he's been good, and they're putting in the new quarterback in there. Winston won't be in there. So, kind of, once again, just one of those things where I think maybe it'll be good to shake it up.
And, going into this week, I'll say about the Hunter Henry against Jacksonville thing, I'm going to bring out a stat that I don't even believe in. But before last week, I don't have the updated stuff before, after the other game. But Jacksonville was 20th against tight ends. It's a misleading stat, though, because against tight ends, there's so many bad tight ends that other teams probably are better. They're inflated because they haven't played a good one yet. Yeah. And Jacksonville gave up a lot to tight ends against Tennessee in week 2, so that hurt them. So, yeah, it's a bad stat. But
their secondary is so good. They shut down wide receivers, so you go to,
exactly.
a tight end or a running back. So inflates those, it doesn't necessarily mean that they, are doing wonderfully against
Exactly. All right, the rest of my top 10, Jack Doyle, Kyle Rudolph, Austin Hooper, Cameron Brate, Austin Safarian Jenkins.
Yeah.
The same. I guess the usual suspects now.
It really is.
It's ugly usual suspeccts, but
do you have anyone lower down that might make the jump up? I actually don't have anyone I really like this week.
I don't either, and that's the problem. I need one of these guys on my team this week. Without Kelsey.
I mean, who would you be looking at?
Nobody?
Right.
Honestly, this is terrible because I don't have a clue. What beyond the top 10? What would you do? I mean, I guess I'll go Austin Hooper because he's up there. He's available in like our leagues. Right. He's available in a lot of leagues. I guess I'll go with him, but I'm not even sold on that.
I mean, what do you think about someone like a Vernon Davis to fill?
Yeah, if he's out there, I like him, but that's about. I would like Vernon Davis if he's available a little bit, but Minnesota is a tough pass defense too. Then again, the tight end thing it's always different. You don't quite know what to expect. I did put Vernon Davis currently at 12 actually for me. I'm not even ranking Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed's the interesting one. Jordan Reed's a disappointment. Why did we? Okay, we're done with tight ends, right? There's not much to talk about here. Why did we buy into Jordan Reed this year and rank him third? In the preseason.
We buy into him every year because the guy, if he could ever stay healthy in any sort of capacity, he would be very good.
When we do
after this year, I legitimately don't care. He'll probably be outside of my top 5 no matter what because I think he's going to get hurt after.
He has to be outside our top 10 next year. Let's mark it down. Remember this episode.
Yeah.
Remember this when we talked about it on the Week 10 wide receiver and tight end ranks. Jordan Reed needs to be out of our top 10.
Yeah, and I will always say I'd never go for injury unless it's absolutely just like hardwired into the person. And he is
injury prone. All right, I think that's it. That's all I got. For
what do you think of Tyler Kroft for Cincinnati, tight end wise? Because I feel like he's still around. People can still get him. He's been doing all right.
He's okay. He might be a guy I look at just because I think there's going to be at least slight volume there. He had the 2 for 79 against Jacksonville. Jacksonville, 79 yards to a tight end. Hey, Hunter Henry, gonna do well. But there's some volume there. So if you're in a bad spot, you can use Kroft. That's pretty much it. I don't recommend him very highly, but I think he'll get you 4 points maybe. At worst, I guess that's about. Hey, nice to get that.
Steal for twice the value,
right? All right, I think that's going to do it for wide receivers and tight ends. It's got one more episode this week. It's going to be our reaction to tonight's ball game, Seahawks Cardinals. You expecting a big game from Russell Wilson, Jeff? My guy.
My guy. I'm going to stop doubting him now because every week he comes out and proves me wrong.
Going to be interested to see how the Seahawks do, and interested to see if Adrian Peterson gets 40 carries.
What do you say? Do you think we should make a little wager? Do you think above or below 7 points for Wilson at half? And do you think AP? Do you think above or below? We'll give it 17.5 carries.
Above for both. Above for both. That's what I'm going to go with that. Yeah, I'm just Russell Wilson. I don't care if he has 1 point at halftime anymore. He's going to put up a big game. So I'll be interested in watching this one. But all right, I think that'll do it. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.